This is CBC Here and Now.
We're live tonight at Quidi Vidi Lake. The weather couldn't be more perfect, and there is lots more heat in the forecast.
After 204 years, the Royal St. John's Regatta still managed to make history today, and female rowers played a major part.
We're so glad to be part of it and to be here today to witness it.
That's just ahead.
Today was the dedication ceremony for the Memorial Gardens of the new Field of Honour.
The Last Post Fund held a ceremony today. A section of the Galway Cemetery has been dedicated as the new Field of Honor for military veterans. Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Carolyn Stokes. Well, for many on the Avalon, it was a holiday. After yesterday's delay due to high winds, the 204th Royal St. John's Regatta got the green light. So let's go pond side now. That's where reporter Henrika Wilhelm is standing by. So Henrika, there was one really significant change in the races at Quidi Vidi today, right?
Yes, Carolyn. In fact, history was made today. For the first time ever in 204 years, 4 women's teams rowed the long course of the lake all the way down to the very edge and back.
It's really, really nice to see it finally come to life and come to fruition and have so much incredible support from the Regatta Committee and everyone down here today. It's really, really special.
It's huge. I actually found myself getting a little choked up. It's a full circle, and it is such a long overdue opportunity and acknowledgement of women's role and women's significance in this race.
The long course was traditionally only rowed by men's teams. The changes were officially announced in April. Now, any team can compete in either race, whichever they prefer.
We had support from a lot of men and women rowers down here to get the courses changed to allow the women to row the long and the men to row the short course. So hopefully we'll see more men rowing the short course next year. But I think it's really the collective voice that helped a lot this year. We're just hoping that things will carry forward to more good things in the future, with more female crews rowing the long, more men rowing the short, and more equality for everyone.
Many have advocated for this change for decades.
This is something we've been looking for, and we petitioned for pretty strongly back in our day, which was too long to admit. It was the late 80s. So we've been looking for this type of opportunity and recognition for women for literally 30 years plus. So when we found out this year it was sanctioned, obviously we're a little bit beyond doing it ourselves, but Patty had the idea to at least be able to be a part of that by donating a trophy. So we were happy to at least be there in name and spirit.
I think that this is the beginning of a legacy. So this is the first time, but this won't be the last time. So this is something that will continue.
A course that has different demands on the athletes.
It's a different race, so instead of a sprint, you're pacing yourself and just like spreading it out over a longer distance. So it felt really nice to just be able to slow down and really focus on our technique this year.
I think that, the course is long, but you train for it, you're prepared for it. And actually, I've rowed it, it felt great. It was awesome to be down there and row back. It's pretty spectacular.
But with only 4 female teams competing this year, the race doesn't count into the championship.
I would love to see the championship races go off as a women's long course, men's long course, men's short course, women's short course, and have 4 championship races in the future to allow everyone the chance to show what they got.
Yeah, and Team Studio Verso won the race today, and to mark the race as the historic event that it was, the committee actually gave out medals to all 4 teams. Carolyn?
That's great. Thank you so much, Henrika. That's our Henrika Wilhelm reporting live from the Royal St. John's Regatta. Now, we'll return to the lake shortly and speak with Ashley about that Environment Canada heat warning. And of course, heat warnings won't help the forest fire situation. The fires burning along the Bay d'Espoir Highway and nearby Paradise Lake are now considered out of control. That's according to the province's forest fire duty officer. There are now 3 helicopters, 21 911 personnel and 7 pump units fighting those fires. This marks day 12. The highway briefly reopened this morning before closing again due to increasing smoke and poor driving conditions. Now, it is good news in Carbonear, though. The volunteer fire department there was able to contain yesterday's forest fire. It was burning in a wooded area behind a Dairy Queen and Earl's Riding Horses and Fun Park. Crews say they were able to contain the fire thanks to the provincial forestry department, who attacked it from the sky. The Supreme Court of Canada has declined to hear an application from a local lawyer who wanted his identity in a sexual assault case protected. The decision came down this morning, and that means we can now tell you that Robert Regular is facing sexual assault charges. The CBC's Ariana Kelland reports.
Until now, 70-year-old Robert Regular has been known only on court dockets by the initials RR, but this decision by Canada's top court to dismiss his application means the curtain is lifted on his identity. He's facing 4 counts of sexual assault and 1 of sexual interference involving the same alleged victim. She was 12 at the time of the first alleged assault 2 decades ago. Regular has pleaded not guilty. Last year, he was granted an interim ban at Newfoundland and Labrador Supreme Court to block his name from being published. CBC News and CTV News intervened, arguing the ban would interfere with the open court principle and freedom of the press. The judge agreed, but the ban remained in place while Regular waited for the Supreme Court of Canada's decision. Regular has worked for more than 3 decades as a lawyer. The Law Society of Newfoundland and Labrador has sanctioned him 5 times since the early 1990s for an array of misconduct related to his profession. None of it was criminal in nature. Regular had agreed that the ban could be lifted if he's convicted. Victims of sexual assault are automatically protected by a publication ban on their identity because of the nature of the crime. The accused is not protected by a ban unless one is needed to protect the victim's identity. Meanwhile, Regular has elected trial by judge and jury. A 7-day trial is set to begin next May. Ariana Kelland, CBC News, St. John's.
A few heat tips for today would be to drink lots of water. Watch if you're drinking things that can dehydrate you, so that's things like alcohol or things that have a lot of salt. Make sure you're having things that can replenish your electrolytes, where sunscreen and a hat would also be really recommended. If you can, dressing in layers so you can dress down when you get warm is also a really good idea.
That was Courtney Dunn with St. John Ambulance earlier today, talking about some tips for the heat. And certainly turned out to be an absolutely gorgeous day here in St. John's. You know, temperatures a bit cooler earlier this afternoon, and now that sun's come out. I think we're sitting at about 23 degrees right now, which is, I think, perfect rowing weather and perfect spectating weather for sure as well. Let's take a look at what's going on across the province. There is lots of heat around the province. About 29 degrees is what it's feeling like in Gander. That temperature is actually reading about 27. So we do have some humidity. Even here in St. John's, it's 23 degrees, but it's feeling more like 28. Not so much up across Labrador, but you are seeing those temperatures around where you should be sitting this time of year. About 22 degrees is what it's like in Happy Valley Goose Bay. So heat warnings Environment Canada has issued for today through tomorrow, with those temperatures hovering somewhere between 28 to 30 degrees, and then those humidex values between 35 to 37. Now, you're not going to see too much in the way of relief through the overnight either. Your temperature is only going down to about 17 to 19 degrees. Now, we do have lots more heat in the forecast, but the other thing right now is, here's a live look at Gander. You can see that smoke from those forest fires, and Environment Canada has issued a special air quality statement, likely going to continue through the night. It should improve as we head through the day tomorrow, but like I said, those heat warnings continue. I will break the whole forecast down coming up.
Thanks so much, Ashley. Well, in other news, 10 guards at Her Majesty's Penitentiary in St. John's are suing the province for charging them with the death of an inmate. Malone Mullen has the latest chapter in the court saga involving Jonathan Henoch.
Police and prosecutors say inmate Jonathan Henoch was killed, the victim of violence from prison guards. A judge decided otherwise, and now 10 correctional officers are seeking damages for the accusations leveraged against them. One night in 2019, Henoch got into a struggle with the guards. It ended with him strapped into leg irons and placed in segregation, A few minutes later, his heart failed. Prosecutors argued that excessive use of force killed Henoch. 3 guards were eventually charged with manslaughter, the rest with negligence causing death. But last year, a judge said there was no evidence to show the guards did anything but their jobs. A lawsuit is now alleging that police, prosecutors, and the chief medical examiner failed to do theirs, and their alleged mistakes have torn 10 lives apart. The guards say they're dealing with mental illness, financial troubles, and loss of enjoyment of life since the charges were laid. And they're asking for an unspecified amount of money to compensate for those troubles. The Supreme Court says the government has not yet filed a response. Malone Mullen, CBC News, St. John's.
The company set to take over the Stephenville Airport says it's working through conditions of the sale. Now, it's been 5 weeks since the Greater NL Partnership, led by Carl Diamond, announced an agreement to acquire the struggling airport. Now, the company is not saying much right now, but there are new details on a loan guarantee the province has provided. Troy Turner has that story.
The Greater NL Partnership remains tight-lipped on details related to the purchase of the airport. This week, the company told CBC News in an email that it would make airport development updates public via its social media channels as information becomes available. The province has provided a $900,000 loan guarantee for a line of credit that helps fund operations here. The question now is this: what will happen to that loan guarantee if and when a private operator takes over? And will taxpayers potentially remain on the hook? In April, Industry Minister Andrew Parsons wrote the Airport Authority and described the guarantee as a significant liability held by the province. But this week, his department said taxpayers will not be on the hook for that liability as part of any sale of the airport, and the financial guarantee will not be extended to other entities. In an email to CBC News, government officials said the Stephenville Airport Corporation is required to pay the full amount owing on the line of credit and close the line of credit. The provincial guarantee will then be terminated. That appears fine for Diamond and his company. They wouldn't do an interview, but in an email said they will be paying off all airport debt with private money, not taxpayers. It's been more than a month since Carl Diamond announced a binding agreement to take over the airport here. But there's been little public news since then about what happens next. Troy Turner, CBC News, Stephenville.
A section of a Galway cemetery dedicated as a new field of honor for military veterans officially opened today. At a ceremony this morning, a few World War II vets attended the event. Have a look.
Listen, quick, mark!
We felt that fitting that we have a dedication ceremony to make it official as our new field of honor. Our old field of honor in Mount Pleasant Cemetery is pretty well full, so we took it on ourselves to come up with a new field of honor. Our past president of the last post fund, Newfoundland and Labrador branch, Don Newell, worked tirelessly over the years. And the General Protestant Cemetery were kind enough to give us this land here. I think we have about 500 plots there. So today was the dedication ceremony for the Memorial Gardens of the new field of honor. Well, the Last Post Fund has been around since 1909, believe it or not, so it's got a long history. But the mandate of the Last Post Fund is to ensure that all veterans, eligible veterans and allied veterans, have a dignified funeral at the time of death, whether or not if they have insufficient funds. Not only the burial, funeral, but also a tombstone marker as well. And we have other programs as well. For example, one of the other programs is the Unmarked Grave program. Unfortunately, across this province and across this country, we have a lot of veterans who are in unmarked graves. So we have researchers who are out there every day searching for unmarked graves. True patriot love. Well, I've been involved with the Last Post Fund now for the last maybe 3-4 years. I know Don Newell before me and Jim Lynch after him was involved for a number of years. So it's been I don't know exactly, but I would say about a dozen years in the working. Yeah. Veteran Affairs has been very helpful, but we've been fundraising too, because donations make up a big part of it. luckily for us commissioners, Newfoundland and Labrador, the beautiful memorial cross here behind us was donated by Commissioners Newfoundland and Labrador Division. I think that cost about $15,000 itself. So the land itself was I think about another $5,000. So we're not quite finished with it yet. We have other plans in the works. We hope to get some maybe benches to go around here and to kind of dress it up a little bit. Very gratifying, extremely important to have those World War II vets there. As you said, they're all up, well up in age. Some of them are getting quite feeble, but we're very fortunate and very appreciative of the fact that they could make their way here from the Caribou Pavilion.
Well, everyone's starting to take their place to watch the final races this evening. The forecast looking absolutely gorgeous for tomorrow. A little bit of a cool down on the weekend, but I'll break all of that down for you coming up.
Well, Ashley, temperatures were pretty comfortable pondside earlier today. There was a bit of cloud cover, a little bit of a breeze, but when that sun came out, things really started to heat up.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And the sun right now feels beautiful as well. But if I start crying, it's just because of that. Yeah, it's gorgeous out here today. Temperatures, only reaching the mid 20s, barely. About 24 degrees is the afternoon high here in St. John's. So it was overall a perfect afternoon, and those temperatures, though, through Central, much warmer, where we do have that heat warning. Let's take a look at what's going on as the daytime highs today. 28 degrees in Gander, 29 in Badger, and those temperatures along the south coast and the north coast of the island a little bit cooler, somewhere between 20 and 21. Port aux Basques only reached about 19 degrees today. Otherwise, beautiful up across Labrador as well. Temperatures in Cartwright 22 this afternoon and about 18 in Lab City. That's where you're sitting right now, and you're not really seeing a whole lot of humidity. It's still feeling a bit warmer, but it's feeling more like 25 in Cartwright and 31 right now in Deer Lake, where we have those temperatures hovering around 26 degrees. And then Burgeo, you're at 18, but feeling more like 23. So we are going to see this humidity stick around. So Environment Canada, and the heat really, Environment Canada has that heat warning in place. Timeline today through Friday, and those temperatures staying somewhere between 28 to 30 degrees. Now, we are going to see some of this warmer air head further east as well. And if we think about temperatures in the 30-degree range, they're very few and far between for St. John's. In fact, just 10 times, one of which was earlier this summer, has St. John's actually reached 30 or more degrees. So the warmest on record is about 31.5 degrees, and tomorrow my forecast temperature is about 31. So we will certainly, if we reach that, we should be about 11 times that we have reached the 30 degree mark. So taking a look at the temperature outlook for tomorrow afternoon, you can see that heat through Central and then heading further east. This warm air mass is going to stick around, and the humidity is going to stick around as well. And taking a look at what we have going on right now, area of high pressure for central areas of the island, but there is a little bit of a trough there. Stationary front is what it is, and that's why we're seeing that temperature. Not a big difference in the temperature, but we are seeing that wind shift, and the wind change today is what kept those temperatures a bit cooler here in St. John's. They were more northwesterly, and that kept those temperatures cooler, but all that heat certainly through Central. If I zoom in a little bit more, you can actually see the smoke from the forest fires there, and that is what's causing that special air quality statement for Gander, and that will likely continue tonight and then through the day tomorrow with those wind conditions as well. As we head through the overnight tonight, just looking at that chance of showers up across Labrador. Otherwise, not a whole lot going on. Some cloudy periods down along the south coast and a few showers possible as we get into the early morning hours. But overall, not a whole lot of change in the temperatures through the overnight, between 16 and 20 degrees with those winds generally out of the southwest, gusting as high as about 40 kilometers per hour for you along the west coast. Temperatures dipping tonight for Lab City, though, 6 degrees through the overnight and about 9 in Nain. So taking a look at the future tracker for tomorrow, things will be a bit unsettled for most of the island, really. You'll see some showers potentially developing. This may even be some thunderstorms through Central. They will be very isolated, but if they do happen, they'll pop up in the afternoon. Northern Peninsula, you'll see some rain, which could be heavy at times as well. Likely not some thunderstorms, but don't be surprised if you do see those through the day. Otherwise, the eastern half of the island looking pretty nice, but we'll see those clouds on the increase as we head through the overnight and into with those clearing skies as we head through the morning hours. Temperatures tomorrow, there you go, 31 degrees. Southwesterly is about 20 kilometers per hour. That humidex will be into the mid 30s through the overnight. Same thing through Central. There's that risk of thunderstorms that I have in there for you. Along the south coast, temperatures a bit cooler, only about 22 degrees in Harbour Breton. Some cloudy periods as well, and a better chance of some showers will be for you along the west coast. And again, you may see some thunderstorms in there as well. Humber Valley will sit around 26 degrees. For the Northern Peninsula, temperatures into the low 20s. Same thing for southeastern Labrador. Mary's Harbour about 25 degrees with that chance of showers through the afternoon. And then staying in the 20s for a good chunk of the Big Land, about 22 in Happy Valley, Goose Bay. But that temperature for Lab City sitting about 16 degrees. So it'll be about where you're sitting today, but a lot more sunshine, so it'll feel nicer. However, Winds will be a bit brisk, westerlies around 40 to 60 kilometers per hour. So as we head through the weekend, a bit of a cool down for the eastern half of the island. The humidity sticks around, but I will break that forecast down for you when I come back.
Thanks, Ashley. Well, CBC Radio's Crosstalk was also live at Quidi Vidi Lake today, and the focus was on the historic rowing race that saw the 4 female crews row the full length of the pond. Here's what the crew said to host Adam Walsh about that moment.
Start being a coxswain.
That's a really good question. Because my daughter wanted me to, is the best answer, I guess. I rowed for many, many years myself. Loved the regatta, but obviously having children posed a little bit of a challenge to getting down here, and when she was old enough she wanted to try it, so I said why not get back at it this way. This has been an incredible day. Yeah, it's overwhelming.
Why?
You know what, we signed up to do this year was a lot. I didn't know I have a crew of 4 16-year-old girls and 2 18-year-old girls. 3 out of 6 of them have rowed with me since they're 11 and 12 years old. So I put it out there, I threw it out there and I said, girls, we have a chance to make history this year. We have a chance to be the first females on the pond to row the long course, and they didn't hesitate. So today, just to be on this ride with them is an honor. To be on this ride with them today is a joy.
Sounds like a lot of pride.
Absolutely, I couldn't be more proud.
She is the best.
Yeah.
I'm proud of her.
Nice.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. She said that you signed her up to be coxswain, and you got on the go this year. How does it feel to be part of this historic day for women's rowing?
It's crazy. I am so grateful to be inspired by the other women that rowed in this race, and my team surrounded by young girls. Like we have 4 16-year-olds and 2 18-year-olds on our team, and our coaches are 2 wonderful, amazing, strong moms who has another daughter on the team as well, and we're just powerful, and it's insane that we've had the opportunity to do this.
It was hard. Yeah, it was definitely hard. When we decided we wanted to do the long course, it was immediately like a different way of training because it's definitely endurance more than a sprint.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was hard, but it was good. Loved every second of it.
What does it mean to you to have done this? Because as we keep talking, it is historic, right?
Yeah, it's so special. It's such an honor to be here and to be a part of this, like you said, historic time, and seeing all the cheering. Like when we finished the race, it was a little emotional. Got you right in the heartstrings. But yeah, it's really cool.
We've been rowing the long course in practice for so many years, and you know it's really neat to say we were part of the long course for the first time. Yeah. It does feel like a remarkable achievement, and you know, like it's I really think anybody can do it. It's just a different race. If you prepare for it, then you certainly can. But it feels great. It felt like a good race, and
how did it feel for the race?
Absolutely, same thing. I think you approach it differently. Just like in other sports, there's shorter races and longer races, and it was cool to show that anybody can do it.
Well, we are now just minutes away from the championship races at Quidi Vidi Lake. The senior women's race is set to start at 6:30 Island time in just about 2.5 minutes. And that's followed by the men's race at 7 o'clock. You're looking at a live shot of Quidi Vidi Lake. Lots of beautiful sunshine. You can see the rowers are getting ready to row down the lake. We'll be right back. And they're off. Looks like beautiful rowing conditions down on Quidi Vidi Lake. Few ducks in the way there. Good luck to the women's teams. Well, it was so nice to be at the regatta today with you, Ashley. We went down earlier today, and it's really the first time in 2 years that there's been a proper regatta with concessions and games. What was your favorite part of the day?
Well, obviously the weather, that was perfect. But there were a few things that caught my attention. The dunk tank, and also there were some pirates walking around, but take a look.
Tell me how you're enjoying the day today.
It's fabulous. I thought it was going to be too sunny and too warm like it's been lately, which I'm not complaining, but this is just perfect conditions for rowers and for the people.
It's very comfortable out
We've
here.
had a fabulous summer, I have to say, a record, I'm sure. I've never ever seen it so hot in Newfoundland, in St. John's, I should say, right? But it got a little bit of breeze today, which really helps me because I find it really hot. But it's been beautiful.
What do you like most about coming down to the regatta?
Seeing friends from years ago, just to see people, you know, that's the main thing.
I was just recalling too as to how I used to always bring my kids down. I mean, now they're like in their 40s now, right? But I mean, it was perfect because they would look forward to it. We would pick up the grandparents along the way and we'd get the metro bus down and we'd spend it, you know, as much as we could. And of course, they always want to win something, but you know, it was always cheaper to just give them the $20 and go home, right?
This is like the first time that Keats has been at the regatta, right?
Yes, it's our first year at the regatta, yeah.
What's it been like so far?
Oh my God, it's awesome. We were here Tuesday night and it was like nonstop from the time we got here from the time we left. It was wicked.
And it's still pretty early in the day and you have a big line.
We're gonna be here. We're gonna be busy all day.
What are you serving here today?
All of it. This is our menu here today. So fresh fish, cod bites, wings, chicken fingers, all that kind of stuff. And our homemade onion rings are to die for.
Five if you want. Can you give it a high five?
You gotta give that a high five?
High five. Big push, big push. Thank you.
Young Adult Cancer Canada, we're super stoked to be back here at the regatta like many other people down here the first time in several years. This dunk tank has been, I've learned, all-time favorite by so many people that come year after year. They enjoy the fun, the game of chance of maybe dunking someone they know or someone they don't know. But what many people don't know is that this dunk tank, all the proceeds go directly to help young adults living with, through, and beyond cancer all across Canada. So every proceed helps their charities in need.
Tattoo.
Two. There you go. Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Hi guys. Say hi.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Watch the wheel.
1, 5, 3. What did you just win?
$100.
And how much did you spend to win $100?
So far, I only spent about $20, and I already won a little toy too. So,
So what are you gonna do with that $100?
I don't know. I'm half so my sister came here, so we'll see.
$50 each.
We'll spend some more.
And what do you love about the regatta?
It's a family tradition that we do with our dad, and this is the first regatta we have without our dad. So yeah, so we're thinking about him today, and we're having fun.
So today we're here with Avalon Karate Club and we're operating one of the official regatta cash wheels. And we're helping raise funds for one of our athletes who recently competed at the national championships here in St. John's. And she'll be traveling down to Mexico at the end of the month to compete for Team Canada in the Junior Pan American Karate Championships.
So a really good cause.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
You are very energetic.
Thank you. You gotta be at the regatta. That's how things work.
I will not shoot him, don't worry. What are we doing here, love?
Just exactly. Tell me what you're doing here.
Oh, we're just here putting smiles on people's faces down at the regatta.
So what kind of a reaction are you guys getting when people see you down here today?
It took us an hour just to get from the top of the road to here, so you can just imagine.
What are people saying?
They love pirates.
Yeah.
And pirates are part of Newfoundland history, so and this is why we do it.
And you guys really feel like you're into character here.
100% so. It's 300 years since I've been on these shores, so 300 years.
You're a real motley crew.
We are. Well, this is a different group. They play guitars, we don't play. They're told.
Can we get our pictures taken?
You certainly can.
Well, tomorrow on the St. John's Morning Show, forest fires on the island are growing out of control, and travel on the Bay d'Espoir Highway has been hit and miss. You'll hear from someone who's stepping in to help those left in limbo. And on Labrador Morning, tune in to part 2. Was Ms. Lindsay's death an accident or something sinister? More on the 100-year-old mystery of the missing school teacher from Muddy Bay. There is a major development today in the case of Breonna Taylor, a black woman who was fatally shot by police during a 2020 raid on her apartment in Kentucky. The FBI has charged 4 officers involved in the shooting with civil rights violations. The CBC's Magda Gabrisalasa has the latest.
4 current and former police officers charged in connection with Breonna Taylor's death are facing a number of charges, including civil rights offenses, unlawful conspiracies, obstruction, and one of the former officers is facing excessive force charges as well. Now, Breonna Taylor was shot and killed back in March of 2020 as police were carrying out a no-knock warrant. At the time, they broke through the door of her apartment in the middle of the night. Her boyfriend, who had a license to carry a gun, fired off one shot, believing intruders were breaking in, and police fired back. That's when Breonna Taylor, who's only 26, was shot and killed. Now, today we heard from the U.S. Attorney General that several of the officers that are being accused here were involved with falsifying information to get that warrant and with trying to cover up what happened.
Among other things, the affidavit falsely claimed that officers had verified that the target of the alleged drug trafficking operation had received packages at Ms. Taylor's address. In fact, defendants Janes and Goodlatte knew that was not true.
Joshua Janes, Kelly Goodlatte, Kyle Meany, and Brett Hackinson are the four that have been charged. Now, Hackinson is accused of excessive force for shooting off 10 rounds into Taylor's neighbor's home. Now, today, family members of Breonna Taylor and their supporters shared their relief that charges have finally been laid and their frustration that it took so long.
Back there, what we've been seeing on day one, y'all learning what we've been seeing was the truth, that they shouldn't have been there and that Breonna didn't deserve that. Y'all learning that today that we not crazy.
Taylor's family members and their supporters see today's news as a step towards justice. Magda Gebrselassie, CBC News, Washington.
One Yukon dancer has given lessons to politicians, members of the armed forces, and Indigenous leaders, and he's become a beloved viral sensation while doing it. Now he's taking his traditional Punjabi moves on the road and spreading his own personal brand of positivity. Gurdeep Pandher is in St. John's today, and he swung by the morning show studio to speak with our Ariana Kelland.
It started a couple of years ago in 2016 when I made my video in the Yukon during Canada Day dancing Bhangra, and this video I posted it on my social media just to show to my local friends, but overnight 300,000 people had watched that video across the country, and then many folks, just like you folks, CBC Yukon, they invited me for an interview about my video. Even that the news story of that interview was one of the popular national stories, and it started growing. And then we made a video with the mayor. It became viral as well. Million views, then Canadian Armed Forces, dancing with different cultural and different people. Then during pandemic time, actually, it was the time when people started recognizing the importance of joy and positivity more. And during that time, I started making one video every day to spread these messages. And I started receiving lots and lots of handwritten letters. And the best moment was when I received a rug hooked from here, Newfoundland.
Oh, no way!
That was my one of the best things I received, and it touched my heart. And then I decided to go to different parts of the country to meet people.
Wow. And how has that experience been, kind of moving from the viral online world to getting out and meeting people now that the pandemic is not over, but, you know, we're kind of on the other side of it?
Yeah, the experience has been great because this was my thought since I was making videos in the Yukon. Hey, as soon as we get some relief from here, although I understand it's not over, I'll meet in person as many as I can, because I believe in strengthening connections, delivering message in person. Because this message of joy, hope, and positivity, this is the name of my tour. I feel that is very important, especially in modern world when there's so much going on. Our lives lives are full of so many pressures, so many stresses going on because of so many reasons. We lived in a divided world, polarization, and my effort is just to spread very simple, basic message, which is very important because we are forgetting about joy, just simple joy and positivity, which can bring us together. So meeting people, they recognize me, they ask me, they let me know that, hey, Gurdeep, 2 years of pandemic, watching your videos, it had been great. Some people even told me that they survived the pandemic by watching my videos. That was very touching to me.
And some of your videos showcase the beauty of the Yukon too. Like you made sure that you had these great backdrops. Are there any one of your videos, because there are many, that really stick out to you?
One is which you mentioned in the beginning, in a minus 45 temperature. That was my best Yukon videos. But the other one, I made one in Kluane National Park in the Yukon, like just showing the beauty, the natural beauty of the park. That was also very great. Almost all of my videos are made outside in a beautiful natural Yukon surrounding, and because my attempt is apart from showing my dancing, is also gave this gift of nature virtually through videos to people. 5, 6, 7, 8. Start 1, 2, switch 3.
Oh no. Okay.
Oh, twice left, left twice right, right twice left, left twice right, right, and happy.
Oh, great job, Ariana. Well, if you are interested in experiencing that positivity in person, Gurdeep Pandher is hosting a gathering and group dance on the lawn of Government House in St. John's. That starts at 7 o'clock tonight, so just over 10 minutes from now, and it's free to the public. Here's his latest dance on historic Signal Hill. This is a live shot of Kitty Vitty Lake in St. John's. The senior women's race is over. That leaves just the final men's race. That's also coming up in about 10 minutes from now.
There's a good crowd out here, so I'm hoping a lot of people are going to come out. I know people are excited, so definitely I'm expecting a good crowd. The first year I did really well. Hopefully I'll repeat the same.
Deadly Mini Donuts. It's a 20-year-old business. I'm the third owner, so I've been at it for 5 years. This is my 5th regatta. I was buying them from Adam's Mini Donuts for so long. I figured I was always after them. When you're ready to retire, let me know. He retired, and here I am.
Some more regatta flavor there for us. It was a real social event today too, Ashley. I felt like I saw a bunch of people that I hadn't seen in ages.
Yeah, and a lot of the conversations too were very similar to that. You know, you come here, haven't seen people in many, many years, and you all gathered down here. So definitely, it was a lot of fun.
For sure, and met some new people as well. It looks like the weather is still great down there this evening. How long is this great weather going to stick around?
Yeah, actually, in fact, just within the last, I'd say 10 minutes, the wind shifted and it's actually cooled down quite a bit out here. The breeze feels really beautiful, but the weather is actually going to improve as we head through the day. Tomorrow's going to be much warmer as well, and as we head through the weekend, we're actually going to see another bit of a cool down. So let's take a look at the future tracker for Saturday. Most of the island should actually see some beautiful weather through the day on Saturday, but the Avalon, probably eastern Newfoundland, really will see some showers, and those winds are going to shift again. So we're going to see more onshore flow, which means the temperatures will be a bit cooler for us in eastern Newfoundland. However, central we'll see some beautiful temperatures, and then some more showers will move in up across Labrador as well. So temperatures for St. John's at this point, I have 23 degrees. That should be the daytime high, and then the temperatures will drop, and you can see that onshore flow there. Through central, some sunshine, maybe a few cloudy periods, but overall absolutely beautiful. 26 degrees. The humidity will stick around as well. And then for Labrador, unfortunately, the rain will return for you. Lab City around 20 degrees through the day. Likely the showers may stay a bit north of Happy Valley Goose Bay, but if you see a few showers, they shouldn't amount to too much, and you should see some peaks of sun as well through the afternoon. Now, as far as Saturday evening into Sunday goes, those showers will continue to work their way across Labrador, and then some showers will work their way through the island as well, at least through the first half of the day. Likely going to stay dry for the east, but this area of low pressure will actually change things over the next couple of days, bringing in some cooler air through the afternoon. So definitely going to hang on to it, but you can see that cooler air up through Nain, 10 degrees through the day, 17 in Lab City, but otherwise we should sit in the mid to high 20s, definitely again through central and the eastern half of the island. And again, it's because we're returning to that southerly flow through the afternoon. But then the long range forecast, there you go, by Tuesday we'll dip down into the teens. Now, there's also a chance that this will continue through a good chunk of the week, depending on the pattern, but at this point we'll say goodbye to the heat for a little while and a return to some much needed rain, really, Monday and Tuesday, with that temperature dipping overnight to the low teens, so about 11 to 14 degrees. Now, for central Newfoundland, windy conditions on Sunday, but by Monday again, you're looking at your temperatures on the downward trend. By Tuesday, 20 degrees, and then a similar forecast for western Newfoundland, hovering around 20 degrees. You'll likely see some showers Sunday and Monday, and then cloudy conditions for your Tuesday. For eastern Labrador, into the 20s as well, but by the time we get into Monday, a few showers Sunday, or Tuesday rather, looks absolutely gorgeous, 23 degrees. And then we'll say goodbye to the rain for a little bit for western Labrador, at least for a couple of days, the beginning of next week, with those temperatures right around seasonal, around 17 and 18 degrees. Take a look at this shot. I love clouds. and then add a sunset in there and it's even nicer. So this one is a sunset towering cumulus. Marilyn Green shared this one from Salmon Cove. And if you have any weather photos that you would like to share with us, send them to Facebook, Twitter, or email them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Wow, what an interesting shot. It almost doesn't look real. I love that.
It looks photoshopped, but towering cumulus clouds, most beautiful things.
Wow. Well, that about does it for us. Another edition of Here and Now, and of course another Royal St. John's Regatta, and it seems like a pretty successful one at that, especially with the history-making women's team rowing the full length of the pond for the first time. But of course, for those down at the lake like yourself, Ashley, the night is not quite over yet. We're just minutes away from the last championship race, the seniors men's race. That's set to begin at 7 o'clock. So we will leave you with our live camera down at Kitty Bitty Lake.
Good night.